that they've had an actual alien encounter. Even fewer have abduction stories that experts believe to be credible. According to the Birmingham UFO Group, this footage is one of the rare cases where they believe the victim's claims. It all started when a woman from Droitwich, England confessed to her husband that she believed she'd been abducted by aliens while sleeping. At first, he didn't believe her. He decided to try and put her mind at ease by setting up an infrared camera in their bedroom one night to record them while they slept, hoping that seeing evidence of her peaceful night's rest would be enough to convince her that the extraterrestrials had been nothing but a bad dream. Unfortunately, the video shows something very different from what he expected. In the clip, we can see the couple sleeping peacefully under a white duvet. A few seconds into the footage, the duvet rises above the sleeping woman. When it falls back down, it falls all the way to the mattress. The woman appears to be gone. According to the timestamp, the footage is sped up. Approximately 12.5 minutes later, the duvet billows up into the air, even higher this time. When it falls back down, it lands on a prone body. It appears the woman is again peacefully asleep in her bed. The next morning, she once again claims to have been abducted in the night. The footage seems to confirm it. UFO investigator Dave Hodrian contacted the woman in the footage to further look into the events that were caught on camera. Hodrian sent the video off to two separate video analysis experts who were at a loss to explain what the clip showed. The woman in the footage, who wishes to remain anonymous, claims to have been abducted by aliens on two separate occasions. The first incident occurred on the 3rd of December 2010. At around 1 AM, the woman got up to check on her daughters in bed. When she walked past a window, she noticed a strange disc-shaped object floating above the field adjacent to their home. The object began to glow and came closer to the house. At this point, the woman claims that she felt like the object was observing her, and that a strange feeling of calm washed over her, and strangely, she just went back to bed. Later in the night, the woman felt like she was no longer in her own bedroom. It felt like she was naked, lying on an unfamiliar hardened surface in a darkened room. Her eldest daughter was said to be kneeling beside her. She leaned in and whispered, "Mum, it's alright, don't worry. It's your turn, Mum, don't be scared, they're not going to hurt you." Suddenly, she felt like she was floating down a tunnel of some kind. At this point, she was paralyzed and could only move her eyes. She could sense that there were several small beings standing around her. It felt like these beings were able to talk directly in her mind. They reassured her that no harm would come to her. The woman recalls several invasive experiments happening to her before suddenly waking up back in her own bed. She was naked, with her nightgown strewn on the floor some distance away. Frightened, she woke her husband up to explain what had happened. The following morning, the woman felt sharp pains in her lower abdomen near her ovaries, as well as an aching finger on her left hand. In the subsequent days, the woman became anxious about sleeping. It got so bad that her husband decided to install the infrared camera in their bedroom, which brings us to the footage we just saw. On the night this footage was captured, the woman recalls a buzzing feeling happening in her head before being taken to a room filled with the small beings once again. One of the beings began moving its hands over and around the woman's body, but not touching her directly, keeping about an inch or two away. Again, as if by telepathy, the being communicated, reporting a series of ailments that the woman suffered from, such as a stomach ulcer in her lower abdomen. Moments later, the woman felt a familiar rushing sensation, as though floating down a tunnel or corridor. Without quite realizing it, it was the morning after. In the mirror, she noticed that she had two asymmetrical bruises around her lower belly. Certain that something strange had happened, the woman and her husband checked the security footage and were stunned at what they saw. The footage seemed to prove that she was abducted and removed from her bed for a period of time. This case is far grander in scope than what we've been able to cover here. To read Dave Hodrian's full report